Chapter 44. By the time Pong finally reached the city, his knuckles and back teeth ached from keeping them clenched so tightly against the vibrations of Somkit's supermotor. Clouds had moved in, the low-hanging ones that ran ahead of a big rainstorm. For a half-second, Pong hoped they would dump rain, keeping everyone inside and off the bridge, but the air still smelled dry. It wouldn't rain tonight. The city lights reflected off the clouds, making it bright enough that he didn't need to turn on his headlights. He held the permit in his left hand as he steered with the right. He wanted to have it ready in case the police stopped him and asked questions. But he didn't see any police boats. In fact, there were hardly any boats on the river at all. Pong glided past an empty fishing pier. The docks and walkways along the riverfront were also deserted. Music played from the balconies of restaurants, but no diners sat at the tables. Had all those people gone to join the march on the bridge? As Pong motored on, he realized why he hadn't seen any police boats on the way. Up ahead, every police craft in the city sat nose to stern, forming a barricade that spanned the entire width of the river. Pong cut his motor and stared, unsure what to do. If he wanted to get to the bridge in time, he'd need to be closer. It would take too long to dock his boat at this distance and walk through town. He took a deep breath and turned the motor on at half power. Slowly, he puttered closer to the barricade. Pong expected the police boats to be full of officers, but they bobbed silently in the water, anchored in formation. "Hello?" Pong called. "Is anyone here? Hello?" No one answered him. Pong turned and motored down the line, his eyes searching the hulls of all the boats. The night Somkit had jump-started Manet's speedboat, Pong had taken note of the officer's license plate. Now he hoped Somkit had found a way to get Manet's boat back to him. He found it, bobbing empty, tethered to a big double-decker cruiser. "Please," Pong called up to the cruiser, "is someone there?" The cruiser's spotlight snapped on and swiveled toward him, shining directly into his eyes. "Hey, you in the long-tailed boat," called the woman's voice. "Nobody passes. You gotta either dock or wait till morning." "Please let me through," called Pong. "What do you not understand about nobody passes? Now get out of here." Pong shielded his eyes against the blinding orb light. "Please," he called again. "Is Officer Manet here? I need to talk to him." Yeah, said the officer. "You and every other bony street rat in this city. You can hit him up for a handout some other night. Now scram!" The spotlight swung away from him. Pong groaned. He was running out of time. For once, he actually wanted the police to pay attention to him, and they were telling him to buzz off. He ran his trembling fingers around and around the frayed bracelets on his left wrist. Suddenly, he remembered what Father Chem had said about never removing his tattoo. What if someday you need it? Pong took a deep breath. "Wait," he shouted up at the boat. "I'm a runaway from Namwan prison. I'm turning myself in." There was a pause, and then the spotlight blasted back onto his face. Pong squinted and held his left arm high. He pulled up the bracelets, showing the blue mark on his wrist. "I escaped, see?" He called up to the boat. "I'm turning myself in, but only to Officer Manet. You better go get him right now." Stammered the woman. "Okay, don't move. Stay right there in the name of the law." "Manet," she called out. "Manet, you gotta get up here." Pong heard the thunking of feet hustling to get below decks, followed by a double thunking rising up the stairs. All right, calm down," said another voice behind the spotlight, a familiar voice this time. "Wait a second. Somkit's cousin? What the heck is going on?" "Please," said Pong, lowering his hands. "I really have to talk to you." Manet stepped down onto the back platform of the cruiser and held out an open palm. Pong tossed him the line from the long-tail boat, and Manet pulled him in closer. He gave Pong a hand up, hauling him onto the platform beside him. "It's okay, I got this," Manet called over his shoulder to the other police officer. "Go get onto the transport boat next to us and wait for me there. I'll bring the prisoner with me in a minute." The other officer nodded and climbed over the deck rail onto a smaller boat bobbing beside Manet's. Manit stared down at Pong's left wrist, shaking his head. Is that? His eyes wandered up to Pong's half-inch long hair, and he smacked a palm over his eyes. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. The monk? The convict that everyone's looking for? Pong nodded. That's me. Where the heck is your cousin? Manit demanded. Where's Somkit? That's why I need your help, said Pong urgently. I've got to get to him, and I can't do it unless I go through this barricade. No, he's not there, said Manit, shaking his head. He left the city this morning. I gave him a permit so he could get out of town easily. You mean this one? Pong held up the paper in his hand. Manit's jaw dropped open. What the? He was supposed to use that to lie low for a few days. I told him it wouldn't be safe for kids like him to be hanging around the city. Things are about to get dicey around here. Manit looked over his shoulder, then lowered his voice again. The governor has got the police and his own personal guards going out to meet the marchers on the Giant's Bridge. They're supposed to arrest them all, but I don't think they're prepared for how many people will be there. I just did a sweep by the eastern shore, and the whole place is empty. They can't arrest that many people. The jails won't hold them all. So I don't know what they'll do, but I've got a bad feeling about it. A knot of worry pulled itself tight in Pong's stomach. Officer Manit, Somkit is with the marchers. He's going to be on the bridge tonight, probably right in the thick of things. Manit shook his head, confused. He started to ask Pong more questions, but then they heard the faint sound of music. Pong and Manit both held still and listened. Voices, thousands of them, sang together. Pong recognized the melody. It was a popular love song, but they had changed the lyrics. Take my hand, oh brothers, sisters, take my hand and walk with me. The voices were far away, but growing closer. Beating drums accompanied them. No, not drums, the sounds of thousands of marching feet. Pong turned back to Manit. He rubbed a thumb over his tattoo, hoping that his gamble had been worth it. Otherwise, everything was about to go disastrously wrong. Do you know what Somkit told me about you? Said Pong. He said you always did the right thing. If that's really true, then I need your help. I have to get to that bridge. After that, I'll turn myself into you, and you can take me to Banglad, I swear. Manit looked down at Pong's wrist. It's no good. You can't stop anything tonight. The governor himself is going to be there, and you can't stop him. None of us can. Please, just get me to the bridge and let me try. I'm the only one who's got a chance. Manit grimaced. The sounds of the crowd grew louder and louder. How can you be so sure? Pong ran his finger along his red and gold bracelet. I just have a hunch. Manit sighed. Take a seat, he said, climbing the steps to the bridge of the cruiser. Kid, you're lucky I believe in hunches.